Right, what can I say? Partey's back, White's back, Gabriel's back. We're bottom of the league. Surely things can't get any worse. Let's talk. Right, good evening, people. My name is JR and I am the FrGooner. I'm joined here today with Nabil and Ash. How are you guys? You well?
All good, man. Good to be back on the show, man.
Thank you for coming on, man. Ash, how you, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. All good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, newbie to the show, man.
Let's have a therapy session, shall we? Yeah?
Yeah. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. I think we'll look into the Norwich match, but firstly, let's start with the Edu interview. Obviously, Nabil, I'll start off with you first. I know you weren't a big fan of Arteta, Vinay, or Edu. But obviously, he had a talk with Sky Sports, I think, last week. You know, he let us know the plans for the club, etc. Has that eased your mind at all? Has that changed your mind in regard to the board and the direction that the team are going in, or the club are going in, sorry?
Definitely not. I mean, one thing I'll do, let me start off on a positive. I will give him his credit for actually speaking to the media. Because quite a lot of, there's quite a lot of football men at the top that they won't talk, and the Conke's hardly talk. I know obviously Josh comes out and he's talking a lot of nonsense, but I'll give him that. But it was much ado about nothing. He was talking, but he wasn't really saying anything. Sometimes when you go for an interview and you don't really know what you're doing, you're just winging the interview. And I don't think he did come across quite well, to be honest with you. I thought he came across like this was an interview for Aston Villa or for Everton, because it kind of the way what he was giving, I was thinking, Eddie, you were here, with Henry, and do you know what I mean? You weren't invincible, that season we went away to Chelsea and you actually scored the winning goal after Vieira equalised. So the way you're talking is like we were down in the dumps and you've picked us up. So it was very, 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 very telling. And obviously I'll let you lot jump in, but it's very interesting that Arteta and Edu, there's two things that they've been fantastic with. They're good talkers. Both of them. I thought you're just like Arteta. You're very good at waffling. And for someone like the Kroenkes, because it's very clear, I'm not judging them as business people, but it's very clear they don't know about football. They don't. To someone that doesn't know about football, it really sounds like they look like what they're saying is a lot of sense. So I thought, obviously the Sky Sports presenter, you could tell he weren't buying it, was he? He was just like, what you... But for the Kroenkes, I can imagine, they'll be like, I like what I'm hearing from this guy.
It was a good PR stunt, you feel. Ash, what's your thoughts on it?
I don't know. He wound me up. Like the way he tried to come across like it was such a insightful strategy, when really, obviously, it was quite clear. He's just saying, I can carry on, keep going through each position. This is why we bought Ramsdale. This is why we bought such and such. I was thinking, you just obviously, we get the strategy is you want to add depth, right, to the squad. But I'm just not on it, because for me, if your house is all good, all in order, all the rooms in order, but your kitchen's leaking, you're going to get an extension done. You're going to sort out like your first 11, innit? So for me, the way I see it, like for example, Xhaka, that they obviously wanted to shift him on to Roma, innit? That's obviously flopped for money or whatever it was. I think the main thing for us, if I was like looking, forget about, we did need squad depth, but if I'm looking at a position in that team, he just, for me, he's nicking a living in that team. Like he can have like 10 good games, but then he'll do something mad. Like he's just such a liability, this guy. So he winds me up. I think if I was hearing Basuma like all summer, like for me, that was the move. Sort out the first 11, even a right back like this guy who we've got in. I don't believe he's like, I mean, the way you see teams play now, how like, you know, Chelsea have got James and Chilwell, Liverpool obviously the best two fullbacks, short Man U, like everyone's got good fullbacks. We've got Tierney. I think if we were to get someone on even slightly similar level to Tierney, then you know. But we've at the moment we started with Chambers and Bellerin, who's been Chambers couldn't even get
I agree. I agree. Chambers he's not of quality that we need. But this Tomiyasu, I think we bought it from 18 million. We don't know if he's good or not. We haven't really seen how well he's going to play, etc. We have to give the guy a chance. And in the same way we gave Tierney a chance, it's not the big signing that we wanted when Tierney came. But, you know, he's come in and he's done a good job, to be fair. Everyone's calling out for him to be captain. Don't you feel with Edu, though, that, okay, you guys have been very negative. I'm going to try and be Mr. Positive. Don't you feel that he did show us that there was some form of strategy? So obviously they want to look for young players. So they're looking to the future. So the average age is about 23, I believe, of the players that they've got in terms of signing. And we're talking about depth, but if we look at, we're not like Man City, for example. Man City can go and spend 100 million on Grealish because they've got that squad at the moment where they've got that depth. They've got two squads, basically. We need to actually build those two squads. And don't you feel that in terms of the money, we spent 149 million. He tried to balance out when he talked about balancing out what they were trying to buy. So, you know, not going for that one-star player, but trying to get that right back, trying to get the centre back, the centre midfielder, the attacking midfielder. Don't you think it shows some form of strategy? Or am I talking rubbish?
Listen, we'll never be, rude on your own show. You just put both of us are looking at each other like, yeah, but we're not going to say, you might. But no, I think with Edu, I don't agree, because this strategy of we're looking to sign young, Arsene Wenger, after the Invincibles, Arsene Wenger, greatest ever manager for Arsenal Football Club. But I want people to take off, the blinkers for Arsene Wenger in terms of the love for him, because he is my greatest manager. However, the speed that campaign to rip up the Invincibles, the speed at which he did that, we're still paying for that today. Because after that 2006 Champions League, it started with obviously Vieira being sold. We've already done this. We've done this twice. We've had Fabregas, we've had Denilson. These young players, all due respect. Listen, we've seen Wilshere, Fabregas. We've seen this young team. We've seen this project before. You're selling me the part 3 of this project. Oh, we're going to go. Yeah. We've done the young British because we had Wilshere, Ramsey, Oxlade-Chamberlain. Do you remember they were all kissing the badge?
Yeah. 5-year deals? I mean, the picture with all of them together.
Listen, we've seen this film before, Edu. It's much ado about nothing. Now, he's saying that he doesn't want to get that star player and spend that amount of money on there. You've sold a goalkeeper for 20 mil. Your number one, Leno, now, it looks like he doesn't want to stay. You signed Runnison. He's now obviously not good enough. Now you go and sign Ramsdale. So already it's just an own goal, because you had Martinez there for free. So you just have to pay him more.
That was a mistake.
Yeah, so what he's saying about he's trying to add depth to the squad and he doesn't want to spend on one money. You tell me the significant signing. Every club has a significant signing. Liverpool Football Club, it wasn't too many different players they had, but they signed Van Dijk. They spent that record fee on Van Dijk. And when you get that sort of personality there, it changes the whole dressing room, because it actually makes other players better. So he's saying, I'll buy average players or below average players and spread out the squad. But then our main, positions that we need to change it, he won't do. So I disagree with his point there.
It isn't our Van Dijk, Ben White.
You see, you're smiling when you say that.
There's complete silence.
Let me show you this. White, mate. That's about a similar.
All right, so
the thing is, bro, with the strategy, just quickly, see, like,
go on.
I just feel like, especially in a year where we haven't got Europe, the kind of emphasis to have a squad is never like needed as much as this year. This is the first year that we've like, you see the team we fielded in the
Good point.
Carling Cup or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
You know, so we could have got away with really, you think about 149 million. That's not peanuts, bro. You can get 2 or 3 good players in. Like, I personally, don't get me wrong, I'm willing to give that right back a chance, but I would have rather him just gone all out more on established guy, like get some characters in the team. What your guy was saying, sorry, what's your name again, brother? Top right?
Yeah, Naburn.
Yeah, what he was saying about character, I think that's a good point, because you look at our team, Xhaka has thrown the armband down 2 or 3 years ago, and he's somehow become like vice captain when Aubameyang is not captain, and he was a captain by default, Aubameyang, because he was the best player.
Yeah.
Like, there's no characters in the team. Like, I would have personally even have got. Don't get me wrong, I don't think he done the balance that well. Like, you can get some young players in, that's fine, but I don't think, like, I would rather get even like someone like a Cody or Lewis Dunk, like one of these sort of people are just, they talk. There's no one who's like there to like lead. There's no leadership in our team. So I don't think
I agree.
Ash, what you're and Ash, sorry, but Ash, what you're saying is spot on. I said it was criminal that you go to Brighton with 50 mil in your pocket and you don't come back with Basuma. Like, Xhaka has publicly been flirting with Mourinho. No, publicly. Now, every Arsenal fan, or there's some deluded Arsenal fans that for some reason think that because international football is slow and he's got time on the ball, that makes him a good player. Good players, or the top players in the world, when they haven't got time on the ball, that's why you love Zidane. That's why you love Xavi. That's why you love Iniesta. That's why you love Scholes. You don't love players that could play that, the old boys when they go on Sky Sports and they're playing the 5-side football. Xhaka he's not built for the Premier League. He's on his way out, and Eddie's telling me this is part of the plan. You should say, okay, Xhaka, you go, we'll buy Basuma.
Yeah,
what more has to be done? We've made the mistake with Kante before. We spent 35 million on Xhaka when we should have signed Kante, and we're doing the same thing with Basuma. The same mistakes.
Yeah. I feel the Xhaka one that is a mess, to be quite honest. I mean, he was on his way out. It was clear to see, and we kept him. We offered him a new contract as well. I can't understand what they tried to do with a new contract, but if you look at his age, I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, he's 28. It's not really going to work, We're going to get about the same amount, or Roma are going to come back next season and say, yeah, we'll give you 10 million.
Exactly.
So it don't make sense. But let me show you guys this year, because obviously from the sounds of things, it doesn't seem like you lot feel there's been any form of improvement. So I'm gonna share this with you, and you're gonna let me know what you think. Let me know when you can see it.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Yeah. So what this is basically showing is we're looking at the signings and we're seeing if there's been any improvements in terms of the squad and who they've replaced, etc. And I just want to see if this changes your mind at all. So obviously we got Ramsdale for Runnison. Yes, I understand the Martinez incident. He should have been a goalkeeper. He's now at Aston Villa. But we had to move, so we got Ramsdale. He's meant to be good with his feet as well. Tavares for, I can never say this guy's name, Kolasinac. Yeah. So that's to replace him, obviously. Even though I saw him played against Man City, that was criminal. White to replace Luiz. Tomiyasu to replace Bellerin. And Lokonga to replace Ceballos and Odegaard. Obviously, he was alone last season. Now we've made it permanent. Yeah. Does that change your mind at all? Like looking at the players that we've kind of replaced from that squad of last season.
You know what it is, bro. I'm not sorry, go on. You go.
No. Please. I'll go after you. Yeah, because I can feel the passion from you, man. So I want to hear what you got to say. Yeah.
All it is, I've got more beef with how they prioritize the thing, you know? Like, I don't think, I'm not even like knee jerk like that, as in like, I don't know about this Tavares. I don't know about Lokonga. I don't know about the right back. I'm not just going to shoot them down. There could be good like reasoning for like why we bought these players. Like, you know, Tierney was only playing in Scotland. He, like you said earlier, he turned out well. I just mean that 149 million, maybe if you buy two of them, but then if you buy two of them, you could have still gone and got Pasuma and maybe a Lamptey at right back, or like a Aarons, or even I was hearing Trippier at right back. There's definitely a better option where it's just basically a more like solid option.
Start options.
I don't think the balance was good. They've gone all out. They're saying the balance was good because we secured Xhaka almost. But now don't try and lie to us. You want to get rid of him. You just ended up being that situation where, you know, he's no longer going. So now you're saying, okay, yeah, we've signed him to a new contract. That wasn't the case. So that's what I kind of mean. But where, in that diagram you said, I pretty much think we have pretty much like for like all upgraded. So, but it's just more for me a prioritizing thing.
Yeah. I think for me, when I look at the midfield, I kind of feel that we're one injury away from being at ground zero again. I mean, you know, when Partey was obviously injured, we had Lokong. Well, we had who do we have? El Nene was playing with Xhaka, etc. We had El Nene and Xhaka playing. You know, I just kind of feel that I don't really want to see Xhaka and El Nene playing, so it doesn't seem like much of an upgrade. Obviously, we got Lokonga, but he's young, he's new, so I don't really know what he possesses. He looks good so far, but it doesn't look like that midfield for me has improved enough. Go on a bit.
Yeah, I mean, from looking at that, it's like you're giving me options. Do you want salt or pepper? Like, it's kind of like, I'm just thinking, okay, what can improve this dry piece of toast? And you're basically saying, do you want salt or pepper on it? Because you're going to have something on it here. And I'm sitting there scratching my head.
There's no peri salt.
Salt is bad for me, but maybe the pepper. But you know what? Let's just go with it. I mean, the goalkeeping situation, Ronison and Ramsdale. Now, Ramsdale had a good performance against them in the, I think it was against West Brom. We've got to give this, if you've got to give this guy a chance, fair enough. But that's a mistake that you're just clearing up your mistake.
100%.
David Luiz and Ben White. Now, you're going to go and sign an English defender. I get it, that when you're signing an English defender, you're going to pay over the odds. But we'll see what happens with Ben White. Again, we need to support our players. But you've let David Luiz out at the door. He's gone. And then you've brought in Ben White for 50 million. That's not cheap. Tavares, you signed Tavares. Obviously, he was on the fringe of Benfica. He's actually looked quite decent with the games that I've seen. Kolasinac was on loan at Schalke. They've been relegated. He's on his way out, and then he's in the first team.
I couldn't
playing
believe
in the back three.
I couldn't believe it. Against Man City.
No, but this is but Jay, I told you this from the last season.
Yeah,
I told you this from last season that Mikel Arteta is one of the biggest frauds I've ever seen in my life in football. And I'm telling you something now, heads have to roll for that appointment. And it's not even a joke. I'm not even into, I'm not into the of abusing people. And I think it's just bang out of order. Arsenal, we've always been a classy club. We've also handled ourselves well. But Arsene Wenger, the disrespect that he got from certain Arsenal fans, and listen, it was his time to go. I'm saying, if you're treating Wenger like this Arteta is probably the worst manager I've seen. And I miss Terry Neal. This is the worst that I've seen. Like, there's no question about that.
You don't like him
that's
that
the
much.
worst. Sorry?
Go on.
I was just saying you don't like him that much. Like, I'm a bit mixed on him, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. Yeah, no, just with, like, don't get me wrong, there's some massive questions over him, like with some of the stuff he's done, like the thing which kind of like, I was basically, majority of last season, I was in just because it's almost like, I can't really necessarily say it's his fault because there's so much, the club is pretty much rotten from top to bottom. You know, like I'm saying, I don't know if the players are his players, like this sort of thing. Now, I think this season, 100%, if things don't, like all these guys, it's clear as anything in that Edu interview as well, that Arteta has had his say on these players. Do you see what I mean? There's a good 5 or 6. There's at least 8 players now in the squad that he's kind of signed. Because my theory is always like, you inherit a team, but what are you going to do? You're going to judge this guy on like, 1 window, 2 windows, like 2 or 3 of his players.
No, but
that was always my feeling. But the only thing I would say is just see with like his tactics in the final, the semi-final, where he tried to do the false 9. That thing for me, bro. I was no longer like sticking up for man. Like there was a time when I'd be like, you can't really get onto him. But then I was just like, you know what? I'm not putting my neck on the line for you anymore. Like you're just doing stupid things. You're not doing yourself. Like we weren't in any kind of league, fight for anything like in Europe. You could have tested that formation out or something at any time prior to the semi-final. Yeah. In the biggest game of the season, you decide to go and do that. So in that respect, and then like even what you guys have just said there, Kolasinac starting in the Man City game when he was on his way out, these sort of things, these are just proper now. Like I'll hold my hands up if I am proper, like say he totally flops and we don't get, any sort of results for the next 10, 15 games and he's out the door. I'll hold my hands up and say, you know what, you was right, all along, like he's the biggest fraud ever, but I'm not 100% with that. I'm just being real.
Do you know the thing? Oh yeah, sorry.
Let me just say one thing. Can we, with Arteta, obviously we're 3 games in, can we blame like injury and COVID?
No.
Can we give him that?
No, we're not blaming COVID because it's not Arsenal that's only had COVID.
But we had it to big players though, man. At the start of the season, we had Aubameyang, we had Lacazette out. That's big players.
It doesn't matter about the thing is it's not the players. Guys, Arteta's the biggest fraud I think I've seen at Arsenal Football Club. Like as long as now, and the reason I'm telling you is because
the one that I hate is when people say, "Oh, he's still in the job because he's a club legend." Is that?
Nah, no one can say that. No one can say that. No one can say that.
You know who our legends are? Fabregas, Santi Cazorla, all of these type of men. He was no legend, bro. At Arsenal.
He's no legend.
He's just a good professional.
He literally every single record he's breaking for Arsenal, but in the worst way. This is the first thing. 4 league games in a row we lost. We were 1 game away, and it was the draw against Southampton record that we've ever done. We're bottom of the league, -9. It's not only that, it's his relationship with players. So on the pitch, I'm not seeing anything. The relationship with players. Who was in the French squad? Saliba and who?
It's horrible. Guendouzi.
He doesn't even improve players. You can't tell me that the players that's worked on the Arteta have got better. Aubameyang is looking like Jason Lee. Lacazette can't be bothered. Aubameyang is getting golden boots. Bro, look.
Jason Lee.
He doesn't improve players. He doesn't improve players. And Saliba is gone out. We've spent 27 million now. He's not good enough. He's gone out. You've got rid of Guendouzi. He's now in the French squad. It's constant.
One thing. You see with the Saliba thing, that surely cannot be his signing. Think about it.
It wasn't his signing. It was up before him.
But he's going to spend 27 mil and then chuck him on loan.
But neither is Holding.
This is what I'm trying to say. Holding's dead, bro. Like these sort of players he's inherited. How many players has he inherited that you would think any other manager in there, are they really going to do much better? Like Aubameyang, out of nowhere. Like I've had this debate with so many people because for me, it's one of the most mystery things ever that man can just turn from like the prolific striker he was, even under Arteta during the FA Cup run, he was doing sick. Yeah. And then he's just like that. Yeah. Like, I kind of put it down to...
Couldn't even kick a ball.
But this is what I'm saying. What's the common denominator? Aubameyang, Golden Boot. Listen, bang bare goals under Tuchel at Dortmund. Comes to Arsenal. Arsene Wenger from January to July. He scored more goals than anybody. Golden Boot under Emery, and then now under Arteta. So it's not a mystery what's going on. It's very clear what is happening here.
So some people say he secured the bag as well, isn't it? Some say he secured the bag.
I think it's lazy from Arsenal fans. I think that is just
same with Ozil though.
I don't even say that. I know what you're saying. The common denominator, and I can't really argue with that. I do feel like as well, that you do have situations with players where, you know, he had issues with his mum, he had issues with like, I can't remember what it was. He had COVID, all of these sort of things. And you know that some players like can literally put these things to the back of their mind, crack on and be professional. Whereas others, you know, like you see Lingard when he went through bad stuff in his life and now he's, you know, rejuvenated. David Silva on the flip side, his kid was in hospital, like young baby, for he would just play like it was nothing. Do you see what I mean? Like,
let me ask you both then. Do you think Aubameyang can come back then this season? Do you think he can be that 25 goal a season guy? I'll ask you first, Nabil.
Yeah.
Under Arteta as well.
Listen, let me make this very clear, and I've argued with certain Arsenal fans, yeah? Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang won us the FA Cup last season or 2 seasons ago. If he was in that Arsenal Football Club, even under Emery, yes, he's missed some chances. It's unforgivable the penalty he missed against Tottenham because we would have made Champions League, and against Brighton and that miss. He scored 4 goals in 2 games against Manchester City and Chelsea. There was question. You know, Arteta didn't win us the FA Cup because we didn't play well. Let's just be real against those teams. It was on the break. Aubameyang single-handedly done that for us. We finished 8th twice. His worst season was 15 goals. I'm not saying he's playing well because he's not. But if you take Aubameyang's goals away, we would have been finishing 12th, 14th. And that's even under Emery. Now, as Arsenal fans, if someone's going to have a season off, that's fine. He's having an iffy season. We're so quick. What's happening? We're so quick to be blaming players. But you know what? We're running out of players now. All of a sudden, it's running out now. You can't just keep blaming us players. Arteta is definitely the answer. I believe he can do, but under Conte, you would see that team and you think, okay, this is a coach. I'm not saying we're going to be winning the league straight away, but you'll actually see there's actually a plan here. Hold on. He's playing 3 at the back. We're not giving away the ball. Xhaka, see you later. Look, you would see a plan. We have got a very inexperienced coach.
Yeah, I think it could be the same effect as, you know, when Lampard left Chelsea and then Tuchel came in. They haven't looked back, to be quite honest, because you saw the difference between having a PE teacher. I
think they had a better
and a real coach.
I know what you mean. It could have a good impact. They had a better squad.
What do you think? Do you think?
With Aubameyang, yeah. See, it was quite mad. I was on a podcast the other day, and it was like, I think the question I said was, "Have you seen a player?" Because let's have it right. I'm exactly on your page in terms of how crucial Aubameyang has been to us. He's been a sick player for us, world-class striker. Like his goal record was parallel to Kane's up until last season from when he's been in the league, hasn't it? So that's how good he is. But he was so like not bad, but he was so like for his standard, he dropped so massively last season, in my opinion. So the question was, have you seen a striker when you're that level ever dropped and then come back?
Yeah, I believe. Hold on.
Name someone.
I'm thinking of someone.
We had someone. We had one person.
Who's that? I can't even think of anyone.
Had off seasons.
Okay.
Zima, we think has had off seasons. But yeah. Like I mean, just in the top tier strikers, because that's what we were putting Aubameyang in.
But you see, with Aubameyang, and
so the question is, if you can't think of anyone else, that kind of answers the question of, do you think he is going to come back?
Now, I'm asking you though. Do you think he can come back?
No, well,
so you're saying no, basically.
Don't. Because if we can't come up with a player that ever has, then you kind of think, I don't think he will. But unless it is down to maybe, the personal issues and he just had a rough year. Obviously, it was COVID, unprecedented times. Everyone's got different dramas in their life. You never know. And as well, I tell you what, to be fair, another factor is some players are definitely like get off on the buzz of fans being in the stadiums. Others could just crack on and play.
Yeah.
There's others who that's crucial to them, isn't it? Their performance, isn't it? So he might be one of them sort of players. So he might now come back into his own. Not that Arsenal's fans are that loud, but still, you know what I'm saying, isn't
it?
Yeah. All right. Let's try and hopefully end it on a positive then. Obviously, we got Norwich on the weekend. is this the time when we come back and win? You know, I feel, you know, we've you know, Partey's back, to be fair. Gabriel's back. White's back. We had a lot of injuries, you know. We're playing Norwich. We're not playing Man City. Nabil, we got this.
This is a tough one because
brother,
I'm trying to get him to be positive.
Man's contemplating.
No. This is a tough one because I don't want Arsenal. Look, I looked at it. Let's be positive. Okay, let's be positive. I want Arteta out, so a loss would mean possibly Arteta out. However, let's be positive. If we win against Norwich, which we should win against Norwich, because now the excuses are we've got our players back. If we win this game and then we've got another game against Burnley away and we win that, and then we've got the North London derby, which Tottenham fans can make fun of us all they want. I don't really mind because until you've that Premier League, you've only got 2 league titles. So for me, it's like, there's nothing to talk. But if that's a game that, you know, it's at home. So if we win that game, then we're on to 9 points. The problem is for me, is if he does win 3 in a row, that cocky arrogance of him, he's going to start again with his nonsense, and then the season's going to tail off. But yes, we can. We have to win. We have to beat. You know, let me quickly, because I know you got to talk. Norwich City. We should not be looking at that game and trying to say, yeah, we have to win it because we're Arsenal Football Club. Brentford should have been beaten. I don't care what anyone says about Chelsea being European champions. We did the double over them when they were going far in the Champions League. Any home game, when you go into a home game as a Premier League team, you shouldn't go in there thinking, yeah, we're going to lose this one. Minimum, you draw. You say, okay, you know what, Chelsea, you're better than us, but you're not going to beat us at home. We'll get a draw, and you know what I mean, and we'll take that now. But we just rolled over. The Man City game, I don't care about Manchester City, but every cross going into the box, you're getting out jumped by a guy that's my height, Gunwarden. Bro, it was every cross that was going in. It was embarrassing. And it's the manner of the defeat. So don't look at this Norwich game when we win this and start clapping. Of course, you're going to be happy, but that is not the barometer for him. This is Arsenal Football Club.
Go on.
Facts. Ash? Positive note, are we going to win this weekend?
I'm on that page where we've got our players back. I think Partey is massive for us. If he can now start to kick on this season. Aubameyang gets his shooting boots back. Like obviously that West Brom game, that was the most pleasing thing of this season. Just the fact you saw that third goal. That was just so like how, you know, him when he just cuts inside, quick turn, top bins. So I think if we can get a result, definitely. You'd like to think so. And then it's just a case of kicking on. If we can then, like you say, get the Burnley game under wraps and then the Tottenham game, that could literally turn everything. So I like that philosophy though, because I don't know, sometimes I think differently, but I'm actually on your page with that. When you're at home, because I always argue for the fact of, it's only when I think of it like this, whenever you look at a home game now, you know, back in the day when Arsenal playing Norwich, or if you're a top team playing in Norwich or Brighton, you're like, that's a wrap, that's a free. How many is it going to be? Yeah. Today, I'm now thinking, and most of the teams in the league, other than if you're playing like a bad team, like a West Brom or Sheffield United of that season, you're thinking, you know what, 3 points is good here, like 1-2-0 in it. It's just like any team is tough. So like you're saying, if you think like that, which I do, when you're at home against anyone, you should really have that mindset of like a draw. Do you know what I mean? Like,
minimum. Minimum a draw. Agree. We're not losing. We're not losing at home because we're a big club.
It's a good philosophy.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, man. I mean, me personally, I feel that we are going to get the win. I feel 2-0. I'm feeling confident, but I agree with what Nabil is saying in the fact that we shouldn't get too happy over a win against Norwich. But I do hope that, you know, we beat Burnley, we beat Spurs, Arteta goes on a run, and we start winning games and we start playing well. You know, I don't want to see the man like we win the 3 matches and then it goes pear-shaped, you know, because we've invested in him. To be fair, we these are the players. He was part of the players that we brought in. This is his philosophy.
This is the problem,
you know.
bro.
So yeah, so to go backwards now and
Come
start
on.
all over again and get Conte,
100.
etc. It's long. You know.
You've now bought
it's long.
players.
It's long.
You bought 149 backup dancers, bro. 149 million backup dancers,
bro. Listen,
and you're not gonna have the man to coordinate them. You've got to stick with man, innit? You've got to stick with the man. Like,
listen, if Conte is available, you need to be ruthless and say, listen, Arteta, thank you very much, but I think this guy could do better with the squad that you've got there. Because you lot weren't saying that with Frank Lampard. That was his team. None of you, man, were saying, oh, no, but that's his... There are two... Listen, Abramovich said, thank you. Those are your players.
Yeah.
Mason Mount, cheers for them. But we need a better coach.
That's
if Conte
true.
is here,
that's true.
We've got to take him. Because that's the Chelsea philosophy.
True.
That's why Chelsea have won more than anybody. All this sentiment for managers. It's not about managers. It's about the club. It's not about JR. If you're Arsenal manager, you're my guy for years. I'm sorry. If you're doing dead, you're still coming around for Christmas, but you're out of a job. I'm bringing in Ash.
I'm going to be after
I'm bringing Ash. Bro, you'll be gone.
That's gone.
You know what it is, bro? I'm literally so on your page with that. I've got no sentiment. It could be Henry in charge, bro. It could be Ian Wright. It could be any of them, yeah? They're not performing.
Yeah.
So I've got no allegiances to Arteta. I'm honestly just saying it on a level-headed thing, and I obviously follow football hard. I watched Arsenal for years, watched all of Arteta's reigns solidly, and there's so much where I just don't think like you can necessarily put it down to him. But I totally understand your thought process of saying like, you know what, it could easily be one of those ones in a couple of months. I'm saying the same as you and saying, you know what, this guy, biggest fraud, bruv. He frauded us like hard. But I'm just undecided on that at the moment. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how it turns out, man. And onwards and upwards, hopefully. Norwich on the weekend. Hopefully we can get the win. Hopefully we can turn things positive. Yeah, guys, I just want to thank you for being part of the podcast today. Until next time, take care, people.
Thank you. Yeah.
Love.